How can you build a great morning routine for 2023? How can you make it amazing? Amazing! Let's find out. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss future video. So we want to have a look at how can you build your morning routine around these 5 major areas. Yeah, and by the way, you got to watch until the end, because by the end, I'm going to share with you the 3 rules how you can build a morning routine that's really, really exciting. And by the way, before we jump into these 5 areas, you really got to take a reality check. You got to look at your past. Yeah, you got to really look at your past year especially, right? What worked and what didn't work? What did you like about your past morning routine? What did you not like? And chances are very high that if you're here, you didn't like it that much. Or you want to take it to the next level, which would be even greater. Yeah, you also want to ask yourself, what would be a fun thing that you can add in the morning? So my recommendation for you is right now or a little bit later, stop the video and write down your current morning routine. What do you like? What do you not like? And what would be a fun thing to add? So let's look at these 5 different areas. What is the first one? The first one is your physical well-being. What should you do in the morning? What could you do? Here are a couple of ideas. You could drink water. You could take your vitamins. You could do some jumping jacks, right? You could do push-ups. You can go for a walk. You could do any kinds of other exercise that you might enjoy. So think about it right now and try to pick 1 or 2 things that go really, really quick and are easy to do. Number 2, the second area you have to incorporate in your morning routine is emotional well-being. And this is so critical because many of us, what we do, a lot of people have a morning routine, they care about their physical well-being, right? They do exercise, they do something, and then they feel more energized, but they still feel empty inside. And why is that? Because you didn't take care of the emotional area. Yeah, it's so critical to feel fulfilled from the morning. So what can you do? Well, if you have loved ones around, you can give them a hug in the morning, you can give them a kiss. Let's say you have a roommate, for example, you can give them a high five, have a quick positive chat, cheer them up. Another option, if you don't live with anybody, you can write a text message with a loved one or somebody you care about or a friend. All right. And then another option as well, Tony Robbins has this wonderful, it's called emotional flooding exercise. Yeah, you can just jump on YouTube one time, type in Tony Robbins emotional flooding. It's this amazing exercise that I've been doing for years on and off as well in the morning sometimes. But these are just a couple of options. So pick one that works best for you. The third area you want to really include in your morning routine are mental habits. Yeah, another mental habit, a mini one that you can include and add to the physical and to the emotional side as well. So what could you do? One way to do it is you could read a book, right? Another option is to visualize your goals, to visualize what you're gonna go for. Or you can watch an educational video. But make sure that you keep your mind sharp, that you keep your mind focused. Your mind is your biggest ally, but you gotta turn it and focus it in the right direction on the things that you want. The 4th area is your spiritual well-being. I don't know about you, but maybe, you might not really believe in it. Right? I had my doubts in certain parts of my life. And we all call it differently. Some of us, we might call it God, you might call it universe, you might call it nature. But I think one thing we can all agree is that there is something bigger than us. True? There's something bigger than us. And if we tap into this energy, it really supports every single day if you use it from the morning, from your morning habits, your morning routine. So what could you do? Right? If you believe in it, you could pray, you could meditate, right? You could write down a list of things that you're grateful for. What were great things that happened the day before? And you write down 3, 4, or 5 very, very specific things. You could look up at the sky and realize, okay, well, what tiny guy am I actually in this universe, right, in this world? So it gives you a larger perspective, and it energizes and strengthens you for the day. But make sure you include a mini habit into your morning routine. And the 5th and final area you have to include, and I gotta tell you, for many years I tried to make these other 4 work, and most people do, or at least 2 or 3 of them, and they all will not work. They will fail if you don't include this 5th area. What's this 5th area? This 5th area is fun. If you don't bring fun into your morning, you have the worst enemy. Who's going to be the worst enemy? Your inner child. All of us, and you know this, you have an inner child with you, right? No matter how old you are, and the inner child wants to what? Yes, wants to play. So from the morning time, the inner child will sabotage you if you do not let it play a little bit. It'll be like, why do I have to do this stuff, right? Why do I have to do the mental, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual? Why? It doesn't want to do it. It simply doesn't want to do it. So you got to include play. You got to include some fun in the morning. Whatever, it's different for everybody. For some people, it means a couple of minutes of playing a video game. Right? For others, it's a couple of minutes of watching like a comedy show, or you're watching on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever, a couple of short fun video clips, right? That make you laugh in the morning, that are fun. It could be pulling a little prank on somebody that you're living with, but you got to include fun. Yeah, and all it takes is a minute, 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, but don't overdo it, yeah? Some people who learn this from me, they go like, Ben, it all failed. I'm like, why did it fail? Well, I did the fun part for 1 hour. That's not what I said. I said a couple of minutes, okay? But make sure you include some fun in your morning routine. Well, my friend, I hope you stayed until the end, because this is probably the most important part of all morning routines you will ever hear. Yeah, first of all, I gotta tell you, there's no one morning routine that fits all. It's like you gotta engineer it, right? You gotta build it like Lego, put it together. You know, it's like a puzzle piece. You gotta make it work for you, whatever is best for you. And then what we wanna do, you wanna follow these 3 rules for excitement. Yeah, where you build the morning habits for excitement, and if we want them to last long term, really long term. I call it infinity habits, okay? We don't just wanna build it for the short term, we wanna, excuse me, build it for the long term. Yeah, so what are the 3 rules? Rule number 1, most important, you gotta start small and then you stay small. What do I mean by that? I mean by that you want to build each of these areas, because it sounds like a lot, right? 5 areas, Ben, 5 areas. How do you say that's small? Well, you do 1 minute per area. The way you want to plan it out, and I recommend you do it right after this video, you take a piece of paper, you write down these 5 areas, and you think about, okay, what's a thing that I could do for 1 minute? Just 1 minute, and you write it down. Yeah, and you make this is your standard. This is the goal. Longer, you can always do, that's beautiful, but the goal is just these 5 minutes. So physical area, it could mean, you know, you do 10, 20 jumping jacks in a minute and boom, you're done, well done, and you can be proud of yourself. Yeah, in the area of the emotional well-being, you give a high five to your roommate. You're done, beautiful, takes a minute. Again, 5 minutes is the base. All right, you can always go beyond, but that is the base. What's rule number 2? Rule number 2 is probably more important than rule number 1, and that is you gotta be gentle with yourself. You gotta be gentle with yourself. Because if you're not gentle with yourself, it will never last for the long term. Even you set it up for just 5 minutes a day, all right, there will come a day when you will not be able to do it. And what most people do, they're their worst enemy. They beat themselves up, and they use that beating themselves up to stop the morning routine completely. You don't want to do that. Never ever do that. That's why most people fail their New Year's habits, their New Year's resolutions within a week or 2 weeks. That's the biggest reason. Don't beat yourself up. If you fall off the horse, get back up again. And rule number 3, keep in mind, while you do your morning routine, you might realize, hey, I don't like jumping jacks. Change out individual parts. If you don't like a certain part, change it for something and think about what is something you would enjoy more. What is something that would be better to do in the morning instead? All right, so follow these 3 rules and you can make your habits, your morning routines last long term. So comment down below one time, just get straight into it. Write down what is going to be your morning routine. Tell me your 5 areas and what will you do in each one of these areas over the next year. What's going to be your morning routine? By the way, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And most importantly, I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.